It's coming to light. I just want to bring your attention to the fact that I actually just did an hour and a half breakdown on my main channel, Trap Law Ross, where I kind of pulled together and condensed a lot of the kind of proven theories and evidence in the David case into one video. I tried to make it kind of punchy for you guys, could have gone 3-4 hours, but I feel like this actually is just really focused on all of the facts of the case and just everything that we could find, everything that we could prove. And it's a really interesting video. So if you want to get more backstory, if you want to get kind of, a much more complete look at this story in one go and kind of David's backstory and everything that led up to this incident, I would definitely recommend that you go and check that video out. But over here, there is still a whole bunch of speculation, and I think a lot of these narratives about David potentially not being responsible for the murder, overdose theory, family theory,
Yeah,
all
bro,
of
it's
these.
been like new evidence. They've been saying that the girl is that she overdosed. You know what I'm saying? They said she overdosed. Um, it's one video came out with Charleston White, and he was like, man, if bro was really innocent, they would have been got him. And you know what I'm saying? I feel like he is right, because bro is not arrested. It's like bro is still out. Like, I don't know if somebody tried to. It's like they're saying that she overdosed. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if he's been framed or what. Did somebody frame him? Because just because he's not a suspect don't mean he won't be in the future. But it's just like, I don't know, man. Maybe it's more to the story, bro. That's what happens when you jump the gun. I ain't gonna lie, we all pointing towards him. Even though that still is wrong that he was sleeping or whatever, messing with a minor, that's wrong in itself. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm gonna continue. It's the parents too, man. Like I've always said in my previous videos, like the parents gotta do a better job, bro. Like they may have not killed her, but man,
Are still going around, and there's a lot more questions that are being asked at this stage. One of the big things that a lot of people are asking and have been confused about is the fact that there were seemingly two Celestes. There was this Celeste girl that got found in the trunk of the car that was an underage girl that, had seemingly been around David in the lead up to this very sad news coming out.
yeah.
But then there was an older woman called Celeste Herrera who was in her 20s that, a lot of people felt maybe she was, hired as an industry plant or a decoy to try and confuse people. She got the same first name. They got her wearing some of the same outfits as the original Celeste. And a lot of people have been wondering what this is all about. People are saying, why is the different Celeste so quiet? If the other Celeste really exists and is alive, why is she not posting anything? Not a single statement. I know, right? She might care about her privacy, but allegedly she appeared on his streams and at other events, so she wasn't fully anonymous. I wonder why she doesn't post anything like, I'm the one from the streams and the adult Celeste who was dating David, not the victim Celeste. When she'd do this, it would have been obviously good for the case to cut some part of the speculations, like Celeste Herrera was a fake identity of Celeste Rivas. I can't stop thinking about this, and I can't believe in the two Celeste version of this situation.
I'm
Do you have any
confused.
theories or explanations? And people have pointed out, rightfully so, that they probably have been told to avoid talking about the case. Okay, people saying, the poster says, I see the point, but it would be helpful for the public debate. They can't stop people talking about this and making theories by just being quiet. Okay, so I think this is interesting. I think the fact that, this is just so suspicious, and
So
it
suspicious.
really is a head scratcher for me too. I'm just finding myself just thinking, why is there another person and she looks similar and she's got the same name? It is very unusual, and we are trying to find out what's going on with that. Okay, people are saying, I found the video and holy crap, it does look like the Gap hoodie. They really dressed her up like Celeste Rivas to make it seem like.
Yeah, that do look suspicious, bro. What the hell is going on, man? What? I'm confused, man. Do this kind of remind me of the kind of like the Kanika Jenkins murder. The girl that was murdered in Chicago that everybody was trying to figure out what really happened. That was very suspicious too. That was weird.
Wasn't the girl in the stream. Question is, how did they get her to do it without her knowing what they were trying to do. In my opinion, I'd be super weirded out if someone asked me to wear some young girl's old Gap hoodie and some big, ugly blue light glasses. A Gap hoodie's really trendy. It's really difficult to believe Herrera would agree to that stuff without at least knowing why. Weird, weird, weird. But maybe this answers your question about why she isn't saying anything, whether she was covering up David dating a minor or potentially covering up Reva's real disappearance or death. She must have at least suspected she was pretending to be Reva's and that it was weird as F. Now, look, let me just give you my opinion on this situation, okay? It is like quite a tall order for me to try and accept that like they really created this industry plant and they got like a twin, they got like a clone, another Celeste to try and kind of throw people off the scent. But then again, we're dealing with a body in the trunk. We're dealing with a potential murder. We're dealing with a death.
Somebody's still dead. Somebody still died. So it's got to be figured out. They're going to get to the bottom of it. I don't know what it is, but I don't know. It's given like, bro, was this David way of trying to get to the top? Like, nigga, was this your way of trying to, because I didn't know nothing of this until the case started going on. Didn't know nothing about no David. And I see mostly people saying that. So what is this? Like, how did the girl get up in the trunk and where she overdosed? Who cut her body open like that then? How did she end up in the car? So somebody got to do some backtracking.
People would go to great length. They would sacrifice everything they had to try and avoid getting caught up in something like this. So a part of me believes that this could be a real thing and that this really was a cover-up that they were trying to do. But there is also a big part of me that feels like this could be a coincidence. Now, look, okay, I've had it in school. They're damn near, 2-3 people with the same name. You're thinking, how the hell have you guys ended up all in the same class with the same name? But it happens, okay? It could be a coincidence that he does also have a friend named Celeste. I mean, it's a tall order, but it could be a coincidence. They produced a lot of those Gap hoodies. Now, I know it is very sus. They got her wearing the same hoodie, and it's just like, bruh, it's the hoodie from the missing poster. But I do personally feel like that could be a coincidence. It could just be another Gap hoodie. Hella people wearing Gap hoodies.
Yeah, it's a lot of people.
So this one is, this theory has definitely been a head scratcher. I could see it going either way. I'm not trying to defend it, but it's like, I think it's just as far-fetched. It's just as coincidental. It's just as likely in real life that really it was just a coincidence that he had a friend that looked similar with the same name, also wearing a very common Gap hoodie. Like, I could believe that just as much as I could believe that it's cover-up, because that's just like a whole crazy thing that's very unlikely, but so is this being a coincidence. So this one's a head scratcher, and I really am excited to hear from this Celeste Herrera. I think at some point, no doubt she'll speak out. When the case is resolved, when it goes to court, when more information comes out, no doubt we'll eventually hear from her. But it is definitely a head scratcher. Now, a lot of people have noticed this. This is a new thing going around the David subreddits. People have noticed that this is another Instagram account, this extra David account. They're confirming that it's him. They're basically saying that, like, this is the account. Like, this is actually him. We can connect this to him. And people are saying, tell me why, when I Google lens David's profile picture from his other Instagram account, this is what came up under exact matches. I don't know how this all works, but seeing as he stated before he's into gore P-word, I'm just coincidental. Okay? So people are thinking, right, they're saying that basically that image that's his display picture on this Finsta account, it comes up to this thing saying, I thought he was just hooting and hollering, right, from the Mayhem subreddit, and people are looking up those lyrics, right? They're looking up post on Mayhem of other lyrics that they've got, all about corpses, all about guts and, necro lust and all this weird stuff. Your stinking corpse I desired, nothing can take me higher. Another super weird coincidence, all right? People are saying Mayhem has nothing to do with gore P-word. They're a black metal band. A lot of you guys need to expand your listening palette. If a black metal band with lyrics like this is shocking to you, Cannibal Corpse, which is death metal, would give you a heart attack. But this is also a popular meme. I've seen it all over TikTok. This has been a reach for me, okay? But again, people are just noticing these like weird little connections and these weird little things that just this David guy was just so into all of this dark demonic stuff. Okay. And another aspect that I think relates to that is the fact that a lot of people have been asking what happened when David was 11 to get him removed from school. People are saying, does anyone know what happened to David when he was 11? Why was he removed from school? What did he do that meant he had to be kept away from other kids and socializing normally?
Yeah, because that's one thing too. I've heard David say in a lot of his interviews, and I started to do a backtrack that he was homeschooled a lot, and that's the part of the reason why how he was today. You have to understand, man, how you was raised and how you came up has a big part of how you are today when you grow up. It plays a big role, man. Once you start to do your homework and digging, how niggas was back in it, like how you grew up, my nigga, plays a big role. Like it does. So he said that was a part of the reason why he was like that today. And he wrote about a lot of heartbreaking songs and stuff like that. He wrote about a lot of songs that he didn't even go through. Nigga, you wasn't even in school. So how are you able to write these? So that was weird. And, so a kid being isolated like that, to not play with other kids, not have fun with other kids. So you mean to tell me you've been at home all your, why you wouldn't all of that plays a role, and it's probably, you know he's grown. It's like he's an older guy but has a child mind. You know what I'm saying? Cause he never got the experience of when he was young. This nigga been closed in all his life. He didn't get to play and have fun like a normal kid would, because maybe he's been isolated. He's been homeschooled all his life. You know what I'm saying? So that could be a part of why he's acting pretty weird. Even Michael Jackson, man. Like once you look at Michael Jackson and how he did as an older guy, he liked it like little kid stuff, and that's because when you look at Michael Jackson and his story and how he was brought up, Joe had them. His dad had the man rehearsing, working all the time. Them guys didn't never have a chance to be a kid. Yes, they didn't go to prison, they didn't go to jail, they was very disciplined, but they couldn't have fun. I mean, they couldn't be normal kids. They've been rehearsing, they've been working, they've been, dancing, singing, going to the studios, shows. That's what they've been doing. They never really got a chance to be a kid. So that's part of the reason why he was like acting like the way he did, like into kid stuff. I mean, but I've heard David talk about that a lot, and that's that plays a big role, man. So I'm gonna keep going with the story, man. I don't know. I don't think David physically did it. I don't know. I think he's. I don't know. I don't know if somebody did something to that girl though. At the end of the day, I don't know if it was David or he had somebody kill her, or he know who did it. I feel like he's tied in somewhere, but he may didn't physically do it. But he probably know the person who did it. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Anyone know anyone he went to school with? His mother is an educator and his father a litigation consultant. He clearly knows the technicalities of the law. Was he taught how to get away with criminal activity? Can anyone fill in the gaps in his history? Since we've rinsed Celeste, let's broaden the investigations. Now, people are saying, did he have a song where he said he was dealing with drugs in 2016 and he was in the back of a police car? That would make him 11. Now, look, I don't personally believe that, okay? He says he did say that in one song, something about what I did in 2016 when he was 11. Okay, it says it looked like that when the family moved from Queens to Houston, he pulled out of school and they moved virtually across the country to distance themselves from something. It's fascinating. There have to have been people in Queens who knew the story. People are saying he wasn't doing well academically. Could be other reasons, but that's what I heard. Now, my opinion on this, I don't know. This is my opinion. Okay, this is my speculative opinion.
Yeah,
but
that's my opinion too. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I don't know, man. It's crazy. I don't think personally that the man killed her, but I think he knows who did it, and I don't know, man. It's weird, bro.
It wouldn't surprise me if something crazy went down when he was a kid. Like, you hear these stories of kids, killing animals, and then they grow up to become serial killers.
Like
I really don't know, but honestly, it just wouldn't surprise me if it came out that he had done something super messed up as a kid. I mean, look, there's all sorts of stories of kids injuring other kids, hurting other kids, getting into altercations. You can't really hold kids criminally responsible. There's been cases where, preteen kids have committed murder or committed crimes or committed serious violence, and they kind of, you got juvenile hall, but you can't really be taken out of society as a child. Society has an obligation to try and help children no matter what they do. If they do absolute madness, violence when they're a kid, really they're going to get a couple of years in a detention center and they're going to be let back onto the streets. That's just how it works. So it's just speculation, but I personally do believe that like we might eventually find out why he ended up, being taken out of school, why he ended up being homeschooled, why he moved out of the area so suddenly with his family. And I think that could be very interesting when it comes out.
Yeah.
Now, another thing that's new that's been going around is essentially this clip from News Nation. And they've basically allegedly spoken to a lot of students at Celeste's school. And apparently there's a student who did tell them that Celeste would tell her and a few people in the class about her being in the relationship with David, as well as showing photos of David to them. So no doubt, I don't blame the kids for not, ringing the alarm bells sooner. But it does seem like the students in that school actually did know a lot of what was going on.
And as for Celeste's family, with whom she clearly had a strained relationship, they are also nowhere to be found. But her former classmates and other students and students' parents in Lake Elsinore speak of a girl who had few, if any, close friends, except for one.
Gotta talk to them.
And we now know that she didn't keep that one friend much of a secret.
So we talked to a student that went to school with Celeste, and she did confirm that Celeste showed a few classmates photos of her and David. She said that she was in a relationship with the singer David, and she wasn't shy about telling the few people in this classroom that she had a relationship with David, and even showed photos of him. Now, this is the little bit of information that we've actually been able to get, and we have talked to over 100 students. We have asked them if they knew Celeste, if they've seen Celeste. A lot of the students have confirmed they went to middle school with Celeste, they knew of Celeste, they heard she went missing. A lot of people said, I remember her beautiful curls, but out of all of those people, nobody, besides the one thing I just said, nobody really knew Celeste. They just didn't know her personally. Even the parents, a couple of the parents would see her, but nobody knew her family, nobody knew her personally that we've talked to that were at the school.
So it does sound like, some people, a few select people knew at the school, knew what was going on. And people are saying no matter how she died, this particular fact needs to not be swept under the rug. Scream it from the rooftops that he was dating a child. And this is interesting, right? Because I think as they put dating, it's not even likely. It's absolutely, I want to say 100%, but maybe I can't even say 100%. I feel like it's 99% likely, in my opinion, that David is going to deny being involved with Celeste romantically. He has to. He has to. It's an impossibility that he would admit to dating this child. It's just not possible. It's just not within the realms of possibility.
That's gonna mess him up. It's gonna mess him up. It's gonna mess him up. You've been dating a child, which he was. He's gonna deny it, which he was. She said it. There's evidence. People saying the child was in a relationship. She's telling people that y'all was in a relationship. You with her. They have pictures. Why? And yes, he's going to deny. That's why in all the pictures, he's hiding her face. He's hiding her face. He got the purse up. You can't really see him in certain pictures. You know what I'm saying? But, yeah. All that's going on.
Or in the realms. I mean, unless he ends up catching a charge and just goes full plead guilty and admits the whole thing, which again, I think is extremely unlikely. There is no world in which this guy is going to admit to have been in a relationship with this kid. But as we're hearing from this news clip, it sounds like she was in her school, according to classmates, telling them that she was in an actual relationship with this grown man. And that is going to be damning. Yeah. That testimony might end up coming up in court if this does end up going to trial, if this does end up resulting in a charge. We still don't know at this stage. But I think that is a really interesting point. Because even though we've got all of these pictures of them seemingly together, it looks like her engagement ring, all of these things.
Yeah.
We can't still really prove. They don't really prove that, intimacy happened. Yeah, there's the screenshots of the messages. And I'm not trying to defend David here, but just because I could screenshot. Listen, all right? Okay? Yeah. I ain't going to say too much, right? But I could write a text to somebody and say, yo, I don't know who's the hot, like I could write a text message said to somebody saying, "Yo, I smashed Taylor Swift. It was so good, man. It was just so
And never did it.
man. It was
And
just
never did it.
man. I felt like I was swimming with dolphins in there. Shit was fire. That box was fire." And I could post that screenshot and be like, "Look, proof. Trap Law Ross smashed Taylor Swift." It don't really mean, it's not provable. It doesn't really do anything.
Don't do anything.
So even that message, the alleged screenshotted text messages where she's apparently telling somebody about them having intimacy, that doesn't prove anything. Okay. And even this doesn't necessarily prove anything. So I think it's 100% likely that, I think it's in my opinion, it's 99.9% likely that no matter what happens, David, at some point in time, at some point along the line, if he never gets charged with this, he will have to come out and deny being in the relationship with his child. Yeah. Whether he does it at trial, whether he has absolutely no repercussions from this body being found in his trunk and he wants to get back to his music career, he is going to have to address this at some point along the road. And I think that stuff like this is very interesting, and it really does paint a picture of him being involved with this child. But again, there's very little actual evidence that we have at this stage as the public. Maybe the police have something. Maybe the police got, you never know. Yeah. They might actually have something. Could be videos on an old phone of them together doing stuff that's not acceptable. And that's going to bury him if that's true. But stuff like this is not really going to prove anything, but it does kind of add another dimension to the fact that, people are saying it was a relationship. You can say, look, he might come out and say, look, this was a runaway girl that was a fan. I was trying to help her with a difficult home life. Like, that's the perfect defense for him. And he can be like, look, we was friends and we was on some cutesy Hello Kitty friendship, but it was never a sexual relationship. Nothing ever happened. It was never a romantic relationship. Yeah. And then if this is all the police have, they're going to have to come back with testimony from classmates saying that they said it was a real relationship. So I think this is really interesting, but again, it doesn't prove anything. It doesn't prove anything. Now, apparently, and this is slightly alarming, okay? Apparently, David is still active on Snapchat, okay? This is going around on the David2 subreddit. It says he's also recently been active on okay, and that's going to work in his favor. But as we've seen, they used underneath of them. Not sure if it's the same material, but it definitely qualifies as a unique material. And police apparently said a unique material was used to wrap up the body. Now, this is super interesting. Now, again, we can't prove it. It's not absolutely definitive, but this black tarpaulin, which ironically, it looks like he has purchased this black tarpaulin specifically to lay out on his beautiful floor.
And I believe the parents knew too. I believe the parents knew that she had a boyfriend named Dave, or they heard of him. They wasn't in that. They wasn't. It's like, a lot of that go on, man. I blame the parents. I don't care what nobody say. Y'all just let this girl run away. She acting like she grown, obviously. Y'all not trying to get it, see where she at. She gone. And then I heard that when they said that, hey, man, we found your daughter. They told the daddy, hey, man, we found your daughter. He said, oh, really? You found her? So they were like, dang, but you ain't like, oh, my God, you found my daughter where she was. It's like, he ain't like that. He was, more calm to the situation. Like, oh, you found her. She's been a runaway. She's been running away. And y'all just sitting, so y'all know the situation. So it's no different than R. Kelly. You can say what y'all want about R. Kelly, the pedophile, that's cool. But these parents know that their kids was going to these shows and getting by R. Kelly too. They be knowing that. They be knowing that type of stuff. She trying to be grown, so, maybe she feel like she ain't got to have no boyfriend around her age. She can get somebody older. She's a runaway. But that's the end of that, man. I'm going to see... try to react some more to it, man. It's interesting, though, man. I want to know what's going to happen. Y'all want to know what's going to happen. Until next time, though, y'all, we out.